problem lurking in the soil on the south side of Chattanooga, but who is responsible for cleaning all this up? Good evening, I'm Josh Rowe.
And I'm Latricia Thomas. The EPA says some of the soil has dangerous levels of lead. As we first told you last week, the state says one local home builder knew about the problem 3 years ago, but didn't start the cleanup until now.
Kylie Thomas joins us live after talking with state officials about where the responsibility falls now. Kylie.
Yeah, today we learned the EPA still has more than 4,000 yards to sample for dangerous lead levels there in the soil. Now, the street here behind me off of South Broad had the lead removed a few years ago. And tonight we're learning who's responsible for this type of cleanup. Construction is an alarm clock for the Pouliot family.
We've been in the construction zone since the beginning.
Their home was the first along this strip off South Broad. Marco sometimes takes his kids to play in the mounds of dirt construction crews leave behind.
I think my son ate some mud, and he's still alive, so we're grateful.
Collier Construction transformed the street into the community it is today. But because the land falls within a dangerous lead site, Collier Construction was responsible for cleaning up the land.
They would consult with us, and we would direct them in what we need to see happen to make the property safe for its intended use.
Pat Gribman with TDEC oversees the lead removal in Chattanooga. He says the EPA is responsible for existing homes because it's impossible to trace back who could be liable for the land. They're sampling and removing lead in the soil at 5,000 properties in Chattanooga for free. But when it comes to a developer who wants to flip an old lot into a new home or business, they answer to TDEC. Gribben says the state ensures the developer removes lead contamination.
It's gone very well. Not really any hiccups to be mentioned, other than you mentioned Green Tech.
As we reported first last week, Green Tech is the only company they've had to issue an order to uphold their responsibility for cleanup. TDEC says 10 other Chattanooga construction companies met their obligation to sample and remove the lead in the soil before they sold the properties. We asked Green Tech why construction continued when the EPA alerted them of possible lead contamination 3 years ago. Green Tech didn't answer our question, but they say their cleanup plan starts Wednesday. Now, families who live in these homes built by Collier Construction tell me they were alerted about the lead problem prior to moving in. Live in South Chattanooga tonight, I'm Kylie Thomas.
Kylie, thank you. Records show about 40% of all yards tested in these 8 neighborhoods needed their soil cleaned up because of the exposure to lead. The EPA expects more than 1,000 yards will need to be cleaned up before the issue is resolved. They have more than 4,000 left to test to learn the lead levels.